It's another episode of the Two Big Guys and Grover podcast conversation series. We're joined by Wrangler National Finals qualifying bull rider, the number 21 man in the world right now in the PRCA, Mr. Trey Kimzey. Trey, how you doing?
Oh, just happy to be alive. Heck, I mean, it's been a little crazy times, but it's all good.
He sounds like Peyton
Dude,
Manning this
you like,
morning.
I was gonna say, you almost look like one of the Mannings laying there, like in a commercial, like a what is it?
Relax.
Like a
Yeah.
nationwide
commercial.
Nationwide is on your side.
I mean, honestly, my day doesn't start till here in about a couple hours. So it's around.
Ain't got no reason to get out of bed. Ain't nothing to do.
You're saying it just ended a couple hours ago. Is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So what? So how are you filling your days? What is it? What are you doing?
Honestly, we've had a whole bunch of colts for a while, kind of been raising and breeding them and stuff, and I'm finally just getting back now. Got three or four 3-year-olds, 4 or 5 2-year-olds, and just kind of been working with them. Honestly, that's what mostly been doing, bucking bulls here and there, but honestly, kind of just enjoying the time off. It's kind of nice. Last year I kind of had to bust my tail to make it, and so it's been just kind of nice to chill out.
So you're saying nothing's really changed then for you?
Yeah, not much, honestly.
Always on rodeo time.
No, yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have I guess it's not a unique upbringing for rodeo kids, but we talked with your brother about it. You're a rodeo kid from the time that you remember.
Till now.
Not just
Till
remember
now.
time born. I mean,
From the time you were born,
Yeah.
you guys were going to rodeos because your dad was a clown. Then you moved into riding, and you moved into trick riding, and then back into riding and all of that stuff. So you've never really known much more than rodeo.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's basically been our whole life. It didn't matter if we were on the road rodeoing or back here at the ranch. I mean, it was like basically always kind of the same type of deal as rodeoing. So always just riding horses, just kind of, it just always had to go back to rodeo. I mean, we might be doing something different, but the grand scheme of things, it had to do something with rodeo. So yeah, it just kind of my dad bringing up around the whole like PRCA deal. It kind of just probably held us to a higher level of professionalism, just as going into I would say to the junior rodeos and stuff. And it was just kind of cool to go to the pro rodeos first and then get to go, junior rodeo and kind of figure it out on my own. And then I'll, obviously kind of come back to it.
We've had that talk before. Justin and I and Haley is growing up. We've had that talk many times because you don't know that there's rodeo outside of the PRCA as a kid because that's how we grew up. I mean, we were always at a pro rodeo, and so it was like, oh, you guys didn't go to this rodeo, didn't go to that rodeo. No, we really didn't because one, we didn't have time, and we always had our own rodeos. So we didn't really get to go to those until we got in our late teens, and we all thought, oh, let's go. Here's a open rodeo over here, and that's kind of how you guys were. Dusta the same, going to barrel racings, and Sage and you, and if you guys weren't at a pro rodeo, then you got a chance to go to a youth rodeo at that time, and that's. But you don't realize it because you are at a pro rodeo all the time. I mean, I can remember going to rodeo one time and being like, oh, there's no hospitality tent here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean it's pretty wild, honestly. It's just kind of cool to grow up before you go, kind of make your own legacy, I guess. Before you get to go do that, you just get to see other people's performing and everything else. Like I mean, obviously I got to see Sage perform and stuff, and it's pretty just eye-opening to see that, I mean, wow, I can actually do this. It's just such a far-fetched dream, but it's really not. I mean, it's a lot closer than you think it is.
Well, hey, you mentioned something. You mentioned the two words "own legacy," right? Clearly, you have the genetics or the legacy through your family name, through your father, through everything. With your brother kind of blazing his path, what kind of pressure does that put on you as being the little brother to Sage?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, I mean, it would bring something to the table, and I mean, everybody, not really now, but everybody used to, you gonna make it, blah blah blah, whatever. But honestly, it didn't really affect me. Um, it still really hasn't. I mean, obviously, we go together, we travel together, and I mean, he helps me out the best he can. I don't look at his competition at all, honestly. He does everything he can, and I mean, he helps me out and stuff. I don't really know. It's not really a competition between us. I
Well,
mean,
I
we
think it's
literally just go up and down the road
from the
trying to get better at
yeah.
riding bulls and being better people. So
I, from this fan standpoint, I don't think it's that any. I don't. I think early on, anytime there's a successful athlete in most professional ranks, a little brother comes in. He's in college, and they're expecting big things, and they're like, he won't be as good as Sage. But then all of a sudden, you come on, you're storming your own blaze. You're making your own path here. And it's all within the realm of the professional ranks, but you're doing your things. And I think I think my point of the whole question is I was glad to hear one of the first things out of your mouth was your own legacy, because I think you're well on your way of being your own.
We just said it. We kind of joke about it though, about the Mannings, but you guys, there's a lot of similarities about the whole Peyton and Eli, Sage and Trey, because they both really have their own. They've Trey, you've never taken Sage's path. I mean, it's been Trey since day one. I mean, you've always just been Trey, and that's what most people, they want to compare him to. And Eli was kind of the same way. Eli played ball a little different, did things different, had his own career in the NFL. Trey's doing the same thing. It's just, I mean, not to give a whole full football analogy, but that's really, those that know Trey know that Trey's just going to have a good time, and Trey's just Trey.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And I mean, if you obviously look at the riding styles, I mean, you wouldn't even see that we were brothers.
That's my point. That's my point.
Sage made that point the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Sage's like, hey, man, because we kind of talked with him about it, and his thing was, I think there's some things, he goes, what do you say? I add when I'm asked, I kind of give it, but it's, he's got his style, which is different than me. I wouldn't be successful using sometimes the things he does, and he's not going to be successful doing the things that I do, because he's got his way and I've got my way.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. He obviously kind of perfected the craft of bull riding and took it to a whole nother level. And I feel like we kind of trained the same way. I mean, as in moves wise and everything else, just on the stationary barrel and drop barrel and stuff. And I mean, that's just kind of, I mean, you get on a bull and it's not standing still, so you can't really, determine whether, I don't know. It's just kind of hard to put it at a just similarity between us, and because there's really no comparison at all. I mean, in the riding styles, I mean, there's not any. I mean, we both ride right-handed. That's about it.
Yeah, and you both Kimzeys, right? There's the two.
Yeah.
It's true though. You let's go through a quick answer with you, because a lot of people that don't know Trey or don't know the Kimzeys and stuff, Trey really is the funny one of the three. Like Trey got more of his dad than the others, I think. But what's been your favorite rodeo now that you are you've gone pro, over your favorite rodeo as a kid?
My favorite rodeo as a kid, huh? Actually, probably Strong City, Kansas. Honestly, there was my dad used to work the rodeo up there, and there was an old leather guy up there. Golly, I can't even remember his name now, but old leather guy up there. And every time I went up there, I literally just went in his shop, and we sat there and talked about literally anything. And he was just pretty cool to talk to. Honestly, just kind of a older guy just telling stories, and that was always pretty cool to go to. I always look forward to that rodeo every year.
Now that you're a pro, what's your favorite rodeo besides Vegas? I mean,
yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't really beat Vegas, but I'd definitely have to go up in the Northwest somewhere. Probably. I mean, Pendleton's pretty hard to beat. It's pretty cool.
I think the first time I met you was, Lordy, I don't know. Dusta was hired to trick ride at Claremore, Oklahoma, and you tagged along. And I remember I think the rodeo started on Thursday, so it would have been Thursday morning, we're out there doing a sound check. You guys are warming up your horses, and you flat fall off one, and I mean knock out, like dirt sandwich. You are sleeping. Your mom, I've never seen a mom. I mean, I know she was worried about you, but she was like, this has happened before.
Get up.
She was like, just give him some time, figure it out. He'll be up. He'll be good to go.
Shake
tonight,
it off.
you know?
Get up. Get up.
And I'm sitting there, man, my head's already hurting. But take us back to those trick riding days. Did that help now with your bull riding?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I don't think it could hurt. I mean, besides, brain damage. Well, it feels a little.
That could help.
Claremore was a little rough on me. Maybe I should put 100X on a trick ride.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole trick riding deal, it was pretty cool, and I'm glad I did it. It was dang sure, I would say, challenging at times, and honestly kind of easy at others. It built definitely a lot of balance, and which helped me obviously in the bull riding. But going up and down the trail, just like Dusta was, I mean, she had a pro card, she had something to uphold, and I mean, I was just the kid on the block trick riding, you know, and it just kind of brought me up to, I mean, just another bigger level of professionalism. I really do believe that, and just going up, basically up through the ranks, watching other people and doing everything, the whole trick riding, I just saw another side in general, the whole production side and the whole fan side of it, I would say. And I'm really glad I did that because it just saw me hold rodeo in a new way.
Well, it helps open a contestant's mind when they can see it from the other side of the fence. You know, see what we go through as contract personnel and then understand more what a committee goes through instead of just rolling in there. Because, I mean, let's be honest, you guys are in a hurry to get, as a contestant, you're in a hurry to get there, and you're even in a bigger hurry to leave. You don't get to meet the chairmans and the sponsors and understand the work or watch them on the night before their rodeo as they're last minute painting something and hanging signs. A lot of contestants don't see that behind the scenes stuff that a committee goes through.
Yeah, for sure. Then, I mean, committee guys, I mean, they're literally the backbone to the whole rodeo in general. So, just big hats off to them first. And it's pretty wild just to look at. I mean, just like you said, just the hanging banners in the last minute. Hey, let's do this. And I mean, when we come in rodeos as a bull rider, I mean, we show up an hour before, get out of the RV, go ride back to the RV and drive the next one, and maybe catch a meal if they have it. So, I mean, it's I mean, just like you said, it's just kind of cool to see what all they go through.
But you guys, your dad puts on is that coming up?
Actually, I think they did the last one. That Strong City every 5 years. Was it the Harvester?
Yeah.
Cheyenne, Oklahoma.
Cheyenne, Oklahoma. Is he going to do that anymore? Or is it all done?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's every 5 years.
Every 5 years. That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I mean, it's just basically all the little rodeo grounds around here. They have just a rodeo every 5 years, and Cheyenne's the only one that makes it a pro rodeo. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, very cool.
I don't know if and your dad's like the chair, right? Like that's like your dad's. He helps run that whole thing, or I know there's a group of people, but
yeah, I mean, heck, I don't think he's even on the board or anything, but yeah, he kind of helps out with it and does a little deal.
Yeah. So now that I know that 2 years ago you were at the NFR, last year you were competing at the NFR. What was the biggest difference between the two?
Oof. I mean,
did you go to bed before 11 or 12 every night? Or
yeah, for sure. For sure. The whole Vegas deal, it didn't quite get me down as bad as it used to. But yeah. I mean, you can't really explain Vegas. I mean, you really can't. Everybody tries to put it into words, and you just can't. I mean, the first day we went to Grand Entry practice, me and Sage were riding next to each other or whatever, and he said, "You got this or what?" It's like, oh gosh, I hope so.
But you know that's kind of cool
So-
because you guys were, again, we talk about rodeo kids and stuff, and I say a lot, but you had been there multiple times because your dad had always worked the barrel at the bullfights. Then you were there watching your brother compete, and then you were there competing with your brother. So there's been very few that I even know of that would have gone that path at all to being, a rodeo kid that then is there competing as a competitor. Besides your brother, I mean, we could probably go back down through, but if you think down through, there's not very many, if any. So, I mean, your path to there is, you have had the opportunity to grow up at those big rodeos and be on the other side of the buck and shoots and understand long before you were a competitor there, which is, I think, shows a lot of grit and determination on your side because a lot of kids don't do it.
So, do you feel? What was your pressure? What was your stress? What was your anxiety like this year at the NFR? On a scale from 1 to 10, before the first night of riding, where were you at emotionally on that?
Honestly, I was just ready to go. I honestly didn't have very much anxiety, pressure, or anything else. It was just kind of another rodeo, to be honest. I've been there. I think I've missed 1 year since I've been born. I've been to the NFR every year since. And the only reason that, kind of funny story, me and Sage both got in trouble. Couldn't go. Had to stay home. We got grounded. So,
If there was anybody else that
Yeah.
said that, I would be, I'd be calling BS on it. But being around you, and seeing you at events, even back as far back as high school, watching you, didn't seem like you get nervous about anything. You take it on. You don't. I'm sure you have a little bit inside that you don't put out, but there's a lot of guys who, a lot of successful guys. Not that anxiety or nervousness is bad by any means, but you seem to take things just as they come, man. Let's roll. Let's roll.
yeah, I mean, I mean, kind of call that life. I mean, you could make something bad out of something. You make something good. If you broke down the side of the road, you can call AAA or sit there and whine about it. But I feel like that's just kind of how to live life. Honestly, it's just not. I mean, heck, it's really just no point getting anxious or getting pressured up or anything. I'd say.
When did you decide to ride bulls? Because I can remember you as a kid, you always had a rope in your hand.
Oh yeah, I mean, heck, I still kind of do every now and then, trick roping and stuff. But actually, that's another funny story. I started my trick roping career at Claremore, Oklahoma. That when I got knocked out, Jerry Wayne Olson was there.
Oh, that's right.
Anyway,
That's right.
yeah, Jerry Wayne taught me how to trick rope a little bit, and that was when that started.
That's right.
But I mean, I remember seeing you around and you always had a rope in your hand. I honestly never thought the two Kimzey boys as bull riders because you guys were
Yeah.
I mean, that was just.
Yeah, I mean, I always did other things, and I mean, I roped all the way through high school and stuff, and I don't know, it's trick roping, trick riding, everything. But I mean, bull riding was definitely the end goal. I mean, I knew what I wanted to do since day one. Everything else is just kind of something to do, honestly. But can't ride a bull all the time, but you can dang sure trick rope about anywhere. So
So there's
I don't know.
So there's been the talk, of course, and a lot of pressure. I mean, there's just been a lot of talk about Sage, what direction he's going to take in a couple years. We all know that he's been a part of Team USA for the PBR. He's qualified for the PBR finals through the Velocity Tour. He's had enough points throughout the year to come be a part of the PBR. The big story has always been there was an orphanage that was burning down, and your brother ran in and he grabbed 10 children and saved them from certain death, but could he do it in the PBR? What's your thoughts of ever going to the PBR side?
Honestly, I mean, I've thought about it, and I don't know. I haven't really. I just like rodeo. I mean, I don't really know how to else explain it. It's just kind of what we've done all our life, and but I'm dang sure not opposed to it. I for sure want to make the NFR again, and I don't know. I for sure want to make the NFR again, and we'll see about after that for sure.
But
I'm not opposed to
we've
it,
talked
though.
a lot about there is a difference between rodeoing and going to PBRs. There just is. It's a different atmosphere. It's a different travel schedule. It's different guys that you hang out with. It's driving in a truck for 12 hours instead of getting on a flight for 2. There's just and if you were raised in that rodeo kind of mentality, that looks appealing.
For sure. If I had a family, there would be no doubt I would go PBR instantly. Just because, I mean, just like you said, it's fly in, fly out. I mean, it's pretty handy, pretty nice. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything against PBR. I like what they do, and I don't know. I'd see if I can make it to a few events down the road for sure.
Well, let's talk a little bit about where you see yourself in the next, let's say, 5 years, right?
Dude, he doesn't know where he's going to be at 1:00 today.
I know, but that's what I'm trying. We're just trying to point out some things, give him some.
Papa T's outside already doing chores. He's still in bed. So.
Hey, you know what? Sage was sharing a story with us about, getting back off an event, and a big rodeo event, coming back as a family, and then, it's like chore time. It's like, let's get out and feed horses. A lot of people don't understand that rodeo families it's just constant. It's 7 days a week, 24/7. And he was talking about having to go chore, and mom saying, let's get out and feed the horses, let's go. And him finally making the declaration, I'm a bull rider. Those horses are basically your responsibility. You go feed them. And, he was talking about how his dad's like, well, okay. But mom's like, yeah, check that. Let's go. Go feed the damn horses, But
Oh yeah.
what is your kind of, where do you see yourself? We know bull riding. We know where that middle column is. What are the columns next to those will you continue to raise horses and colts? And what are those things in your life that you see over the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I mean, just the main focus, and I mean, I sound tunnel vision, but I mean, the main focus is just straight bull riding right now. Honestly, I don't really see myself doing anything else seriously for the next 5 years, honestly. But I like hunting and pretty much trying to sell outfitting services, basically ducks and deer and everything. So I spend a lot of time with that, and other than that, I mean, it's pretty much riding colts, riding bulls, and feeding deer. That's about it.
Well, if you have any little deer that need, harvested,
Oh God,
Chris is the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big
Chris
ones
is
don't.
the
The
guy,
big
yeah.
ones don't come out for Chris. Just the little ones.
That's only in Oklahoma.
I got you.
He shot
They're tied up to a tree, ready.
yeah. He shot a deer last year down in Oklahoma. It was about the size of a wiener dog.
Nice.
I have to admit, man, I grew up in Yukon. You know where that's at, right? So I grew up in Yukon. That's my hometown, but so that's where my dad still lives. Have some friends, their family, is gracious enough to host my dad and I. We go down there for the Thanksgiving, and it's Josh Thompson and his family. And so 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago, let's say that, I took my dad down there, who's 82 years, or at that time 81 years old, hadn't been deer hunting in 35 years. We take him down there. We're down there 5, 6, 7 days. We had to go behind. We went to Clyde Nelsey's place, and they're in Lane, and then we're up in Atoka, and then we're over in McAllister. So we're there 5, 6, 7, 8 days, whatever it was. Man, we're not seeing anything. The very last night, my dad and I are sitting in a blind, waiting on this group. They come out. Man, I've got this one. Something's spooking them. Boom, shoot. They run off. My dad, we were going to do that. We're both going to shoot at the same time, and each get one and pull up. My dad's got mud all over his sight. Can't do it. So I shoot, get out of the blind, walk with my flashlight, and I see this little patch of white on the ground. I'm thinking, oh, there was a skunk or something. That's what was spooking them, dead skunk or dead animal. Lo and behold, man, I get closer, and it's literally about the size of a wiener dog. It didn't have spots, but it wasn't too far out. I'm like, oh. I pick it up one hand, throw it over my shoulder. We walk out of there, and oh, chunky butt over here won't let. He's on me all the time about that. So, But I have to, it is what
You got
it
any
is.
little deer, he'll thin them out for you.
So is that
Hey,
really a passion of yours?
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's a funny story you said that too, because the very first deer I shot, it pretty much had spots on it, and Sage made me take a picture with it like it was a trophy animal. So,
Like you were in Africa shooting something there.
oh yeah,
We should do that with Cris. We should redress him back up or
Oh, yeah.
Photoshop his
Hey,
picture from when he shot
But I'll
that
say
deer.
this: it was probably. I mean, I've got a 169 and 7/8 hanging on my wall. I've got a couple other smaller ones, and
You know what that means, Scott?
No.
170-inch deer. I mean, it's nice for me.
Nah,
I'm
I'm
an
good.
amateur. I don't get to do it all the time, but so I've had some really good deer and had been blessed. But I can honestly say that's probably my favorite hunt of my whole life, just because it was with my pops, kind of thing, and he was out
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah, Cody wants
Yeah.
to grind that
Hey,
Thing.
I just if you're gonna go shoot a deer, you gotta shoot like a big deer. You can't come back with a wiener dog.
Well,
It
that's
just
a
doesn't make.
great in theory.
I mean,
Doesn't work that way every time.
well, you're right. Unless you take Trey, and Trey's gonna take you out, and then maybe you'll shoot a big deer.
So are you
Come on.
are you you got quite a bit of land around there that you're working?
Yeah, I mean, my dad's had it he was actually, we're the sixth generation around just on this ranch right here, and he started with just 320 acres or so, and he's built it to about 12,000 now.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
he's done, yeah. So he's done all that basically through rodeo and through cattle and stuff. So, and I mean, I've got feeders about everywhere, all over it. So
Are you guiding?
it's honestly, I'm just kind of getting everything exactly the way they want it before I start selling hunts or anything.
Sure.
I sell a few duck hunts here and there, and I sell about one or two buck deer a year, but
Sure.
I mean, I'm just kind of getting it going in the right direction, getting it, exactly where I want it, and yeah.
Well, I want to see some of the shots. I want to see some of the pics. You start
Oh,
getting
yeah,
your
for
cams
sure.
going. Dude, I'll be bugging you for that.
Are you guys getting pigs down there now?
Actually, so we haven't had pigs here, I mean, forever, never ever, and this year they literally finally started moving in. So, and yesterday or 2 days ago, I saw about 40 of them just right out my back door, probably 150 yards out my back door. Yeah, so they're here.
Get rid of them, man. They'll
All
tear
right,
the
back to
tail
rodeo
out.
because Cris will talk hunting the whole time.
Man, we'll have to do another one when you're not just
Yeah.
sitting talking. I'm good with that.
Honestly, we're just hoping that the rodeo season kicks back off in about 30 days so that we can all get back to some form of normalcy, so that we have enough rodeos to get in before the national finals, to get everybody enough money and qualified up. What are you looking forward to the most, though, when they open the doors back up and let us go?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, just my personal opinion, I think Reno is going to be the first big one that cracks back out. So, I mean, I'm just ready for that one, honestly. There's Reno, it's pretty cool anyway. They fire fireworks off and get everybody going up for the bull riding. So, yeah, it fires you up for sure. I'm pretty ready for it.
Yeah,
Do you think some of those will expand their bull riding to accommodate, to give opportunities? Or you think they'll still keep it the uniform that they've used? You mean
set limits on their
Yeah.
I think some of them rodeos have to set limits on them no matter what. Like I don't think a place like Reno could take any more bull
20
riders
more
than they're
bull
going
riders,
to take
right?
unless they extend it another day.
But you may have to, though. I mean, we're at a different point. They may have to open up slack.
slack and bull riding?
Yeah, I mean, and there was a time way
Which
back
would
when
be
you
cool.
had
It used to happen.
happen. I mean, we used to have slack all the time in the bull riding.
Really?
It may not be but 5 or 8 in an evening, but I mean, we had slack in the bull riding, and then it kind of went away because you wanted to put as many of those in performance because, one, you didn't have enough horse riders, and so you were trying to accommodate for when you weren't able to have enough horse riders, so you put the bull riding. So a lot of guys used to put bull riding at the front to help that, and so they would run, you'd open up as many as you can. But as far as, guys like Trey, I mean, you hope that, he wants to get on as many bulls as he can to make the NFR.
Right.
And so do you take the count out? Do you wipe it away this year and say, hey, there is no count. Whatever you make, you make. You don't have to go to so many to try and qualify, or, I mean, I think there's a lot of business side that people don't understand about the PRCA that happens. and guys like Trey having your brother in the RV with you who's already been there to help you learn those things, which you probably already knew because you were a rodeo kid, so you understand them better than a lot of guys. But who else? I forget who else is in the trailer or the RV with you guys.
Tyler Bingham.
Oh, Tyler Bingham.
Yep.
Yeah. So another rodeo family. I mean, both those guys and the boys and stuff. So I think there's going to be, as far as we're going to see a side of the business this year where we're going to have guys make some businessman decisions different than we've ever made before. Because it used to be like, do I go to Cheyenne, or a couple years ago it was, where do I go, and trying to get horses here and there, or
So this is directly to you. Do you think that you will double, what you would normally have done? Will you try to get to more, or will you just kind of stay with your plan? I know you're going down the road. If you're going down the road with Sage and Tyler, you just kind of follow their lead. Do you think that's what you'll do? Kind of what's your plan?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, last year, I went to more rodeos than anybody last year. I went over 150 rodeos last year. And basically I just out rodeoed everybody. And if you can't beat them at the bigger rodeos, you out rodeo them at the smaller ones. So
that's a true story, though, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so it is what it is. And I honestly wouldn't do that again. I feel like you said something about the count a second ago. I feel like the count is a very good thing. The best bull rider will win if there's a count, I feel like, because everybody goes to the same amount of rodeos, and basically it depends how good you are entering and how good you are at, basically manufacturing your schedule and, where you go. So, yeah, I just feel like the count would really help our industry as a whole.
Yeah, I don't just. It's those that don't understand pro rodeo don't understand. Understand like the true logistics. The being able to enter correctly is what makes a guy's career. He's got to win, but he's got to be. They have to know how to enter rodeos.
Oh yeah, and that 6th time, he's pretty good about it. I will say that.
He's got some experience at it.
He's obviously doing something right. So.
Well, Bud, I know we got you out of bed a little bit early, so if you need to take a nap before you run outside, we understand.
You might throw some old Miracle-Gro or something on up there. It's starting to get a little thin up top.
Yeah.
And,
it don't matter. That's where the cowboy hat goes.
The Eli Manning of the PRCA, everybody. Thanks Trey Kimzey. We'll I can't wait. I cannot wait to just look up at the buck and shoots and see you up there waving like a goon like you normally do.
Actually, this year was a little different because at the NFR where Haley and I sit and stuff down there, and when I looked down, there was a look of pure determination this year that I saw out of you. Different from like high school finals where, you come out of the RV at the high school finals and bounce around. When I saw you standing there on the right side this year, you truly were
focused.
Yeah. Like I'm here for a reason.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, that bout, it kind of almost got me in trouble there in a couple rounds in, just kind of being almost too fired up, just let's go. And I just kind of had to settle down and do my job. But I don't know. It was pretty cool, and I just needed to settle down and just kind of come back to the basics. For sure, I was determined, but I was almost too determined at that point.
Well, you do you, man. You do you. We're excited. We're big fans, that's for sure.
It's pretty hard not to be fired up big time at the biggest and richest rodeo of the year.
Doubt.
But thank you again for joining us this morning. We'll be talking to you down the trail. So good luck.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. I appreciate y'all having me.
All right.
See you, Trey.
Thanks,
Yes,
everybody,
sir.
for joining us here on another conversation event here on the Big Grover.
Big Grover.
The Big Grover.
Yeah,
The
Now
two
it's the
guys.
Big Grover and two guys. The Two Big Guys in Grover podcast. See ya next time.